It was a crisp autumn evening in Portland, and the air was alive with the hum of bustling restaurants and the glow of streetlights bouncing off damp cobblestones. Among the city's many fine dining establishments stood La Lumiere, a restaurant known for its Michelin star and impeccable service. Owned by an ambitious young entrepreneur, Ethan Marlowe, the restaurant had quickly become the place to be for those who sought elegance and indulgence. Ethan's success was not handed to him on a silver platter. He had built La Lumiere from the ground up, guided by values instilled in him by his mother, Clara Marlowe. Clara had been a housekeeper for most of her life, and though her work was often thankless, she never let it dampen her spirit or her belief in treating everyone with respect. Clara always told Ethan, "It's not about how you're treated, son. It's about how you treat others. That's where true strength lies." This evening, Clara decided to visit La Lumiere for the first time. She had resisted the idea before, insisting that she didn't want to cause a fuss or distract Ethan from his work. But tonight, she felt a quiet pride and wanted to see the fruit of her son's labor firsthand. Dressed in a modest but elegant navy dress, Clara entered the restaurant with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. Her steps were slow but purposeful as she took in the lavish decor. Chandeliers that sparkled like constellations, plush velvet chairs, and tables adorned with crisp white linens. Clara's arrival went largely unnoticed by the staff, except for one person, a waiter named Bryce. Young, cocky, and ambitious, Bryce had recently joined La Lumiere. He saw his position as a stepping stone to greater things and had little patience for anyone he deemed unimportant. When Clara approached him to inquire about a table, he barely glanced at her before gesturing vaguely toward the back of the restaurant. "You can sit over there," Bryce said, his tone dismissive. Clara's smile faltered, but she nodded politely and made her way to the table he had indicated. It was a small, dimly lit table near the kitchen doors, far from the restaurant's prime seating area. She didn't mind the location, but she couldn't ignore the coldness in Bryce's demeanor. Settling into her seat, Clara opened the menu and waited patiently for someone to take her order. Minutes turned into 10, then 20. Bryce walked past her table multiple times, attending to other guests but never acknowledging her. Clara tried to catch his eye, but each time, he looked right through her. A younger, less self-assured version of herself might have left quietly, but Clara's years of experience had taught her patience and resilience. She remained seated, observing the dynamics of the restaurant and appreciating the beauty of the space her son had created. Unbeknownst to Bryce, Ethan was watching. From his office on the mezzanine, Ethan had a clear view of the dining area. He had spotted his mother the moment she walked in and had been thrilled to see her finally visit. But as he observed Bryce's behavior, his excitement turned to anger. Ethan knew his mother well enough to recognize that she wouldn't speak up for herself. She'd sit quietly, enduring the mistreatment, because that's what she had done all her life. Ethan descended the staircase, his heart pounding. He approached Clara's table with a warm smile, masking the anger simmering beneath his calm exterior. "Mom," he said softly, leaning down to kiss her cheek. "I'm so glad you're here." Clara's face lit up with a smile. "Ethan, I didn't want to bother you. The place is beautiful, son. You've done so well." "You could never bother me," Ethan replied, pulling out a chair to sit beside her. "Has someone taken your order?" Clara hesitated, not wanting to cause trouble. "I think the young man is busy. It's a busy night, after all." Ethan's jaw tightened, but he kept his tone light. "Don't worry. I'll take care of it." He signaled to another server, Emily, a kind and diligent employee who had been with La Lumiere since its opening. Emily hurried over, her expression immediately softening when she saw Clara. "Mrs. Marlowe, it's such an honor to meet you," Emily said warmly. "Ethan talks about you all the time. What can I get for you?" Clara's cheeks flushed with surprise and gratitude. She placed a modest order, and Emily promised to bring everything promptly. As Emily walked away, Ethan turned his attention to Bryce, who was now at the bar, chatting with another waiter. Ethan stood and approached him, his steps measured but deliberate. "Bryce, a word?" Bryce turned, startled by the authoritative tone. "Yes, Chef Marlowe?" Ethan's voice was calm but firm. "Follow me to the office." Bryce's confidence wavered as he followed Ethan upstairs. Once inside the office, Ethan closed the door and leaned against the desk, arms crossed. "Do you know who that woman is?" Ethan asked, his voice dangerously quiet. Bryce shifted uncomfortably. "She's just another customer, right?" Ethan's eyes narrowed. "That customer is my mother. The woman who taught me everything I know about respect and hard work. And you ignored her. You dismissed her like she was invisible." Bryce's face turned pale. "I didn't realize." "That's the problem," Ethan interrupted. "You didn't realize because you didn't care. You saw an elderly woman in modest clothing and decided she wasn't worth your time. That attitude has no place in my restaurant," Bryce stammered, trying to find the right words. I'm sorry, chef. It won't happen again." Ethan's expression softened, but his tone remained resolute. "You're right. It won't. You're dismissed for the evening. Take this time to think about whether you're ready to work in a place that values every single guest, no matter who they are." Bryce nodded, shamefaced, and left the office. Ethan took a deep breath, running a hand through his hair before returning to the dining area. He found Clara enjoying her meal, chatting with Emily, who had taken a genuine interest in making her feel welcome. As the evening went on, Ethan made sure to spend time with his mother, introducing her to the staff and sharing stories about the restaurant's journey. By the time Clara left, escorted to her car by Ethan himself, she felt a deep sense of pride, not just for the restaurant, but for the man her son had become. The incident with Bryce became a turning point for La Lumiere. Ethan used it as a teaching moment, holding a staff meeting the next day to emphasize the importance of treating every guest with the same level of respect and care. Bryce, to his credit, returned to work with a newfound humility, determined to earn back the trust he had lost. For Clara, the evening was more than just a visit to her son's restaurant. It was a reminder of the values she had worked so hard to instill in him, values that now formed the foundation of La Lumiere's success. And for Ethan, it was a chance to show his mother that the lessons she had taught him had not only shaped his career, but had also made him the man he was proud to be. As the seasons changed and La Lumiere continued to thrive, the story of the unseen guest became a cherished part of its history. It was a story that reminded everyone, staff and patrons alike, that true elegance,